Good morning, everyone. We continue recognizing American Education Week with analyst Derek Johson. He recently did some analysis regarding K-12 virtual learning. How does the landscape look, and what are the market drivers for virtual learning?
Yeah, so I'll talk about one in particular, which is overcrowding. Just to give you some background, according to the U.S. Department of Education, total public school enrollment is near or at 50 million right now, and that number is projected to rise by about 2 million by 2019. Now, conversely, on the teacher side, the total public school teacher workforce in the country right now is just over 3 million, and a lot of school districts are expected to hire about another 500,000 by 2019. So if you look at just the overall student to teacher ratio in the country right now, we're at about one public school teacher for every 15 public schools, for every 16 or 17 public school students. And by 2019, if those projections do hold, then we're going to be at about one public school teacher for every 15 public school students, which, on the surface, that looks great. That is in line with a lot of guidelines for good class sizes and good teacher to student ratios. When you look a little bit deeper into the numbers, you do see that 2/3 of that workforce is dedicated towards teaching pre-K through 8th grade. And those classrooms tend to have much more stringent requirements when it comes to teacher to student ratios. It's usually around 1:8 or 1:10. So, again, it looks great, I think, on the surface, and it looks like there's no problems. But once you do tease those numbers out a little bit more, I think you do see a different picture.
Where in the state and local market is this problem most pronounced?
Well, I'll give you just a couple of examples. In New York City, for example, half of the classrooms have class sizes that are above the number specified in union contracts. I think there's clearly an overcrowding problem there. Over on the West Coast in California, according to a UCLA report, 1 in 3 Californian students attend an overcrowded school. I think that virtual and distance learning tools represent a fantastic opportunity to address some of these overcrowding issues. Unfortunately for education IT vendors, most school districts still tend to see the solution to that problem in traditional terms. We need more buildings, we need more equipment, we need more teachers, we need more supplies. They have not yet latched onto, I think, the idea on a large scale that these problems can be addressed through technology, through online learning, through virtual learning education tools. I think that sort of regardless of how far we've come in the last 15 to 20 years with learning management systems and electronic teaching tools, there's still very much a stigma among parents when it comes to e-learning. I think parents are still, for the most part, wary of removing their children from that brick and mortar traditional public school system that they grew up in and that we all kind of grew up in. That being said, I think a lot, not all, but a lot of the fears that were associated with virtual learning have turned out to be unfounded, especially as the technology has evolved, as it has become more sophisticated, and as we have learned how to integrate it more smoothly into the regular curriculum for a lot of schools. I think that what we have found is that a lot of the top priorities that are mentioned by governors when they talk about primary, secondary education measures, virtual learning really took a backseat in a significant way to initiatives like workforce investment and school choice. So I think that there's still sort of a substantial amount of work that needs to be done both culturally and politically to lay the groundwork for an environment where there's more widespread acceptance of virtual learning tools.
What are the key takeaways from this report, and what is the potential of this technology in the future?
Well, we're making progress. According to a 2011 study by Picciano and Seaman, about 5 million students by 2016 will be utilizing online courses. Right now, there are 30 states that have multiple school districts with full-time online schools, and there are 40 states that have either a statewide or a state-led virtual school in place right now. So, I do think that we are making progress. And that we are on a path towards increasing the share of virtual learning in our public schools. And if you just look at the variables that are driving it, as well as just the need for schools to adapt their curriculums to 21st century technology, those are really trends that we see only intensifying as time goes on. Now, this is in a comparative sense. The overall market for virtual learning is still relatively small. And as I said, there are a lot of cultural and political obstacles that will need to be hurdled before a sort of a full-on embrace of those technologies can take place with school districts. Right now, the biggest virtual learning needs that state and local governments have is that traditional IT equipment, computers, laptops, mobile and smartphone technology, followed by learning management systems at the secondary and higher education levels. It's definitely a growing market, but like I said, comparatively in terms of both scope and timeline, we do think that it is still a ways off before it becomes a real force in state and local education procurement.
Thanks so much for your insight, Derek. Stay tuned tomorrow as we speak with analyst Randy Powell regarding some analysis she recently did around education data systems.